वाले हैं जो अपने परिवार के साथ में पिछले काफी समय से यहाँ पर रह रहे थे। और जिस तरह से ये हादसा हुआ है, ये दुखद हादसे को ध्यान में रखते हुए उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री ने भी इस मामले में गहरा दुख व्यक्त किया है। मुख्यमंत्री ने जनपद नोएडा में दीवार गिरने की
जी शंकर जी बताइए क्या जानकारी शेयर कर रहे थे।
तो जिस तरह से बकायदा इस मामले में उन्होंने गहरा दुख व्यक्त किया है और इन्होंने कि जो भी घायल हैं उनको जल्द से जल्द बेहतर तरीके से उचित मेडिकल व्यवस्था जो है उनको दिया जाए और जल्द से जल्द उन जो इंजर्ड लोग हैं उसके लिए स्वास्थ्य होने की कामना किया गया है।
जी शंकर जी हमारे साथ बने रहिए। आई एम आल्सो जॉइंड इन बाय अरुण धांता हु इज करंटली स्टेशन्ड एट Or let's also listen into what the Noida Authority CEO has to say. He's giving his reaction.
9 बजे की घटना की सूचना प्राप्त हुई है। सेक्टर 21 नोएडा में जलवायु विहार सोसाइटी है जो एक पुरानी सोसाइटी है। सोसाइटी की अपनी बनाई हुई वॉल है और जो शायद खराब हालत हो गई थी वो आज सडनली मॉर्निंग में कोलैप्स हुई है। जलवायु विहार सोसाइटी की रिक्वेस्ट पे ही जो सोसाइटी के बाहर का ड्रेन है उसका रिपेयर का काम चल रहा था। नोएडा अथॉरिटी के कॉन्ट्रैक्टर द्वारा टेंडर के माध्यम से काम कराया जा रहा था। तो जो लेबर मौके पे ड्रेन रिपेयर करा रही थी वो जब दीवार कोलैप्स हुई तो वो उसके ट्रैप में आ गई। लगभग 13 या 12 लोग थे मौके पे, उनमें से 4 की डेथ हो गई, बाकी सब रेस्क्यू कर लिए गए। एक इंजर्ड है, बाकी सभी सेफ है।
अभी कुछ और लोगों में कोई
नहीं, ऐसा कोई नहीं।
कहाँ के सारे मजदूर थे
ये अभी कुछ नहीं आई।
क्या कोई जांच आपकी तरफ से इनिशिएट की गई है अभी तक?
बिल्कुल अभी तो सूचना मिलते ही हम लोग मौके पे आए हैं। इसमें जांच कराई जाएगी और अगर पुलिस प्रशासन अथॉरिटी द्वारा संयुक्त रूप से जांच कराई जाएगी। अगर किसी की भी कोई लापरवाही सामने आती है जिस भी स्तर पे तो कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
ठेकेदार से आपकी मुलाकात हो पाई हो जो ये काम कर रहा था?
नहीं, हमारी मुलाकात नहीं हुई है। ठेकेदार ड्रेन पे काम कर रहा था, बाउंड्री पे काम नहीं कर रहा था। कोलैप्स बाउंड्री की है।
बाउंड्री पे कोई काम हो रहा था?
नहीं, बाउंड्री पे कोई काम नहीं हो रहा था। मैंने बताया बाउंड्री पुरानी बनी हुई थी और वो कोलैप्स की।
मजदूरों का कहना है कि बाउंड्री कमजोर थी। हम लोगों ने ठेकेदार को बोला था कि हादसा हो सकता है, उसने नहीं।
मैंने कहा कि अभी मेरी तो किसी से बात नहीं हुई है, जांच कराएंगे हम लोग, जैसा जांच में आता है उस हिसाब से कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
तो alright, so that was the Noida Authority CEO putting it on record in terms of the number of deaths and the number of people which were trapped under the debris. Having said that, she's also thrown light on the fact that there was work being done by the Noida Authority contractor on a drain in the society, not the wall which has collapsed. For more details, let's quickly go across to our correspondent Arun Dhanta, who's joining us live from the location of the wall collapse. Arun, if you could take us through the details of this wall collapse. We heard what the Noida Authority CEO had to say. She's clearly demarcated that the work was not happening at this place of wall where the wall has collapsed. Instead, it was happening at the drain. Nonetheless, the contractor had been warned of this weak construction of the wall, and yet why was no action taken is going to be a question that the Noida Authority will have to answer.
Well, see, that's right. As of now, the information that we have is that 4 workers who are working here in this construction of drainage. I would request my camera person to just show the exact location. 13 people, that's what we are told, were working here. At that point in time when this wall collapsed. This is the wall for which construction was taking place in Sector 21, Noida, Jal Vayu Vihar. And when workers were trying to actually remove the bricks from the older wall, suddenly that wall collapsed on them, and 4 people have died, in 2 of them in Kailash Hospital and 2 other in civil hospital. 9 others have been treated in the hospital. That's the information at this moment. This is the exact spot. I request my camera person to just show around. At this moment you can see there is some rescue work to find out if there is anyone inside these debris of the wall which has collapsed here. 3 or 4 JCBs are here. In fact, fire brigade has also been called in here. Local administration is present on the ground. So these are the visuals, very depressing visuals emerging from the Sector 21 Noida Jal Vayu Vihar, you still see these NDRF people there on the ground in that area specifically where the wall was collapsed. What exactly was the reason, how it happened, why precautions were not taken when this work was going on? That is something which will be investigated. That's something which the officials are making very clear. But this is very, very unfortunate this morning, which has been reported at around 9:15 when the first call received by the authorities in this regard. You can see this is the sector 21 of Jal Vayu Vihar in Noida, where this wall work was going on when this collapsed in the morning. So very unfortunate. 4 people have lost their lives. Still action is on. NDRF people there, you can see in the orange dresses present there, trying to vacate this entire area, trying to find out if something is there beneath the debris. So very, very unfortunate thing which happened this morning. We had seen DM Noida LY Suhas Maheshwari, CEO of Noida Authority. In fact, Commissioner of Noida was also present here on the spot. We'll have to wait actually what went wrong, what specifically happened here at that point in time, how this wall collapsed, and what was the measures which were needed on the side of contractors while they were undertaking this work of construction of wall here, because people have lost their lives. 4 people have lost their lives and 9 are still struggling, fighting for their lives in the hospital. So that is something which we'll get to know later on. But as of now, we can see, you can see the Noida police officials, NDRF people, they all are on the ground at that spot where this wall has collapsed. In fact, some of the bricks you can see on the top side of this wall on the side of residential colony. These are the things which has been recovered or taken out from this area by the NDRF official. They're still trying to find out if there is anyone trapped inside this area, but as of now the report is that 13 people were working here. 4 have unfortunately lost their lives and rest of others are in hospital. So these are the visuals emerging from Jal Vayu Vihar in sector 21 Noida. Back to you.
Right, Arun, I'm going to request you to stay with us as it's time to slip into a quick break as we come back to this extremely tragic incident that's taken place in Noida.
Massive protests have broken out in Iran after the death of a 22-year-old woman because she was not wearing a hijab in public.
Mahsa Amini was arrested by Iran's infamous morality police for not wearing the hijab properly. Her hair was not completely covered. According to the police, she died after falling into a coma following her arrest. But many believe she was beaten to death. So during Amini's funeral procession, massive protests broke out with women flinging their hijab in the air and demanding removal of Iran's stringent hijab law. Police fired tear gas to disperse the protesters and arrested several people. But that didn't quell the anger. In a symbolic act of opposition, several women posted videos on social media of chopping their hair. Many women also burnt their hijab. Iran has made it compulsory for women over the age of 7 to wear the hijab.
Heavy rains in Bihar's Bhagalpur have led to large-scale death and destruction.
As the water levels of the Ganga rose, the ground under this house gave way. That led to the roof of the house caving in, and within minutes the entire structure got washed away. Soil erosion after heavy rains are leading to more and more homes getting destroyed.
2 दर्जन तक घर समा गए गंगा में, और इससे पहले जो है शुरू से देखा जाए तो हमारे ग्राम में 50 घर से ऊपर विलीन हो गए होंगे.
The situation is so dire that people have no choice but to ditch their homes in order to save their lives. It's not just houses. Soil erosion has also brought down several trees. These visuals of trees flowing in floodwaters has become an all too common sight this monsoon.
A chilling video shows a man being washed away in heavy flowing river waters In Fatehpur area of Uttarakhand, a man who appeared to be crossing a swollen drain on foot but gets carried away by the strong flowing river. Officials say there is no trace of the man so far. There was high drama at the Banaras Hindu University today. BA first-year students protested outside the central office demanding extension of exam dates. They raised slogans and created a ruckus while carrying out their demonstrations on campus. One passenger caused major disruption on a Pakistan International Airlines Peshawar-Dubai flight. The man is seen kicking the window of the aircraft and punching the seats while just wearing a vest. Another video shows him lying on the floor of the plane with his face down. The passenger was detained once the flight landed in Dubai. There is now internet services in Siachen, the world's highest battlefield. Siachen signalers have activated a satellite-based internet service. The internet has been activated on the Siachen Glacier at 19,000 feet. Bharat Broadband Network is providing net connectivity there. The army will also get its own dedicated communication satellite, the GSAT-7B. The satellite will enhance operational preparedness in the highest battlefield on the planet. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav's mega march in Lucknow was blocked by the police.
Akhilesh Yadav and hundreds of SP workers were marching towards Vidhan Bhavan. They were holding placards and raising slogans against the state government over the law and order situation in the state, price rise and the conditions of roads.
सरकार इसीलिए नहीं फेस करना चाहती है क्योंकि हर मुद्दे पर सरकार असफल हुई है.
But soon enough, the protesting SP workers came face to face with police barricades. According to the cops, the party didn't have permission to march on their planned route. Blocked by the cops, Akhilesh Yadav and his party workers decided to hold a sit-in protest.
अखिलेश यादव जी और उनकी पार्टी इस समय बेरोजगारी की स्थिति में ये बौखलाहट के प्रदर्शन है.
The face-off comes as the monsoon session of the Uttar Pradesh Assembly began today.
Sunil Chhetri's Bengaluru FC won the Durand Cup, but it was the politicians who wanted to take credit for it. One video shows Bengal Governor La Ganesan pushing Sunil Chhetri away for a photo opportunity with the trophy. In another video, the star footballers of the match are being pushed aside by Bengal's sports minister. Leicester in the UK continues to be tense even weeks after an India-Pakistan cricket match.
Street clashes continue to break out between large groups of Hindus and Muslims in Leicester. In the latest standoff, police stood in between the two groups to prevent escalation of violence.
All right, CNN News 18 continues to track the latest from the wall collapse that's taken place in a housing society of Sector 21 of Noida, and 4 people have been deceased in this incident. This is the latest that we are now learning. It has been ascertained that 4 people lost their lives, and they were the ones who were working at this construction site. Arun Dhanta, our correspondent, continues to report from the location. Arun, if I could come to you, what has been the reaction coming in from the CMO? I believe the CMO's office has also tweeted about it. What is it that you're learning about the CMO's office's tweet? All right, we'll try and reconnect with Arun in the meantime, but it's important to highlight the fact that overall 9 people were rescued successfully, but it's tragic that 4 have lost their lives. We also heard reaction coming from the CEO of the Noida Authority, who highlighted that there was a separate drainage work that was on by the Noida Authority contractor. This wall that has collapsed had nothing to do with the drain. Whether or not there was a link between that drainage work that was being conducted and this collapsed wall is something that will have to be investigated by the required authorities. Those are the visuals that we are bringing to you of the NDRF team that has also reported to the site just a while ago. these NDRF members will now ascertain if or not there are any people still trapped under the debris. Remember, the rescue operation is over, but it is the search operation that is currently underway, and only after a final statement is issued by the NDRF team will there be a finality in terms of whether or not there are still any more labourers or people trapped under this debris. For more details, let's quickly go across to Arun Dhata, who's reporting live from the location. Arun, it's important to highlight the fact that this is not a first incident in this season of rainfall. We've also heard of wall collapses happening earlier in Lucknow and in Unnao as well, in which a total of 12 to 13 lives were lost. Could rainfall have had a role to play? Have authorities mentioned the role of rainfall in this entire incident?
Well, see, as of now, there is no clarity whether rain played a spoil sport here because, I can actually show you the wall. That will give our viewers better idea that how that wall was earlier. And then, while they were, because the work was going on, the residents who are living here, they were in fact, constructing a new wall. Perhaps they found this wall is a little older, and therefore this construction work to build a new wall was going on. This is the wall actually. If I can show you a part of that wall, which is there on that side. This is how the entire structure was. You can see there at the corner of the camera. This is how the wall was in the entire area. This is the society inside this, and there was a wall encircling the entire society. So perhaps they were constructing new wall here, and while they were dismantling the older one, perhaps at that point in time the wall collapsed on these workers who were working here. The height of this wall perhaps would be around 15 to 17 feet. This is what it appears from this side, and these workers were there down on the ground and trying to dismantle the older wall when it collapsed on them. So, what exactly happened, that is something which is part of investigation. But as of now, it is very difficult to actually find out as to what exactly happened, how, the precautions were not taken when they were dismantling the old wall, what had happened. That is something which we'll get to know. But of course, it's a very, very unfortunate thing where you had 13 workers working on the ground. 4 of them had lost their lives, and 9 are still struggling for their lives. You can see NDRF people on the ground,
right.
And Noida police personnel are all present here on the ground. In fact, the society people are standing there. They are also very surprised as to what happened. Yes.
Arun, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's important to show those visuals that are just streaming in right now from the hospital where the remaining rescued are currently admitted. You can see that the Noida Police Commissioner and the District Magistrate of Gautam Budh Nagar are currently checking in on those who have managed to survive this terrible debris, this terrible wall collapse incident. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break as we'll continue to track the latest.
August. After India won the match, supporters gathered to celebrate, and that's when violence broke out.
US President Joe Biden has ended the ambiguity over Taiwan. He has said that US forces will defend Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion. Before Biden's statement, the US had long stuck to its policy of not making clear whether it would respond militarily to an attack on Taiwan. Massive protests have broken out in Iran after the death of a 22-year-old woman because she was not wearing a hijab in public.
Mahsa Amini was arrested by Iran's infamous morality police for not wearing the hijab properly. Her hair was not completely covered. According to the police, she died after falling into a coma following her arrest. But many believe she was beaten to death. So during Amini's funeral procession, massive protests broke out with women flinging their hijab in the air and demanding removal of Iran's stringent hijab law. Police fired tear gas to disperse the protesters and arrested several people. But that didn't quell the anger. In a symbolic act of opposition, several women posted videos on social media of chopping their hair. Many women also burnt their hijab. Iran has made it compulsory for women over the age of 7 to wear the hijab.
Heavy rains in Bihar's Bhagalpur have led to large-scale death and destruction.
As the water levels of the Ganga rose, the ground under this house gave way. That led to the roof of the house caving in, and within minutes the entire structure got washed away. Soil erosion after heavy rains are leading to more and more homes getting destroyed.
2 दर्जन तक घर समा गए गंगा में, और इससे पहले जो है शुरू से देखा जाए तो हमारे ग्राम में 50 घर से ऊपर विलीन हो गए होंगे.
The situation is so dire that people have no choice but to ditch their homes in order to save their lives. It's not just houses. Soil erosion has also brought down several trees. These visuals of trees flowing in floodwaters has become an all too common sight this monsoon.
A chilling video shows a man being washed away in heavy flowing river waters in Fatehpur area of Uttarakhand. The man who appeared to be crossing a swollen drain on foot but gets carried away by the strong flowing river. Officials say there is no trace of the man so far. There was high drama at the Banaras Hindu University today. BA first-year students protested outside the central office demanding extension of exam dates. They raised slogans and created a ruckus while carrying out their demonstrations on campus. One passenger caused major disruption on a Pakistan International Airlines Peshawar-Dubai flight. The man is seen kicking the window of the aircraft and punching the seats while just wearing a vest. Another video shows him lying on the floor of the plane with his face down. The passenger was detained once the flight landed in Dubai. There is now internet services in Siachen, the world's highest battlefield. Siachen signalers have activated a satellite-based internet service. The internet has been activated on the Siachen Glacier at 19,000 feet. Bharat Broadband Network is providing net connectivity there. The army will also get its own dedicated communication satellite, the GSAT-7B. The satellite will enhance operational preparedness in the highest battlefield on the planet. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav's mega march in Lucknow was blocked by the police.
Akhilesh Yadav and hundreds of SP workers were marching towards Vidhan Bhavan. They were holding placards and raising slogans against the state government over the law and order situation in the state, price rise and the conditions of roads.
सरकार इसीलिए नहीं फेस करना चाहती है क्योंकि हर मुद्दे पर सरकार असफल हुई है.
But soon enough, the protesting SP workers came face to face with police barricades. According to the cops, the party didn't have permission to march on their planned route. Blocked by the cops, Akhilesh Yadav and his party workers decided to.
Welcome back. It's now time to bring you the top stories we are tracking in News Blitz 50. 4 people died in a wall collapse that occurred in Sector 21 of Noida. 9 people have been injured and are being treated at a hospital. Rescue operations are over, but the search operation is currently underway to clean the debris. The district administration has also brought in JCB machines to aid with the same.
2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में और 2 कैलाश हॉस्पिटल में डेथ होने की सूचना है. इसकी पुष्टि कराई जा रही है और बाकी यहाँ पर मौके पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जो आप देख सकते हैं कि तेज़ी गति से कार्य चल रही है. और बाकी जो घायलों के बारे में संख्या 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में जो जिनकी उपचार हो रही है और बाकी अन्य लोगों के बारे में अभी डिटेल पता कराई जा रही है.
Tamil actor Deepa, who is also known as Pauline Jessica, was found dead in her apartment in Chennai. The reports have said that she died by suicide. She also left a message in her diary which reads that she fell in love with someone who did not accept her love, due to which she committed suicide. The mortal remains of the actor have been sent for post-mortem. The INS Ajay was decommissioned on Monday after rendering 32 years of glorious service to the nation. The ceremony was conducted at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai as per tradition, where the national flag, the naval ensign and the decommissioning of the ship were lowered for the last time at sunset, signifying the end of the ship's commissioning service. A robbery took place this morning at a petrol pump in the Kotpali PS area of Cooch, Bihar. Around 11 masked and helmeted robbers were on 4 motorcycles. They had firearms and other sharp weapons with them. As per reports, they assaulted 2 petrol pump employees and fled with about 30,000 rupees in cash. The police officials have recovered the CCTV footage and they are analysing it to figure out the criminals who can be identified. Members of the Kurmi Adivasi community in West Midnapur have blocked roads and railway tracks at the Khemashuli rail station on NH6. The protesters demand inclusion in the list of scheduled tribe, inclusion of the Kurmali language in the constitution's 8th schedule, and the fixing of a government code for the Sarna religious practice. The protest has led to the disruption of railway services in this area. BJP MLA from Ajmer's Pushkar, Suresh Singh Rawat, went to the Rajasthan Assembly on Monday with a cow, but the cow went berserk and ran away from the spot. Bringing a cow was Rawat's move to draw the state government's attention towards lumpy skin disease. Later, in a tweet, the BJP MLA said that even the cow is angry with this insensitive government.
इसको ऐसी जगह रखा जाए, शहीद स्मारक हो या कोई ऐतिहासिक स्थल हो, ऐसी जगह रखा जाए कि जहां लोग आए जाएं, उससे प्रेरणा लें और अपने अंदर देशभक्ति लाएं। भले ही सेल्फी पॉइंट बने तो क्या, सेल्फी ही खींचे तो क्या, लेकिन उनके अंदर कहीं न कहीं देशभक्ति बनी रहे। तिरंगा यात्रा यहाँ से निकाली जाती है और उससे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा प्रभावित हुआ हूँ।
The United Kingdom and the world bid farewell to Queen Elizabeth II with a state funeral. Yesterday, the funeral saw the attendance of presidents, princes, prime ministers, and there were crowds in the streets of London and at Windsor Castle. The Queen's coffin was brought to St. George's Chapel, where she was interred alongside her husband, Prince Philip, who passed away last year. And that's all I have for you in this newscast. Thank you so much for watching. My colleague Grihatul Siddiqui brings you more.
Thank you so much, Akanksha, and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. Let's begin with some breaking news that we are getting on the broadcast. This one's coming from the Valley, as Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, has arrived for the inauguration of the cinema theatres in Srinagar. Let's bring in my colleague Mufti Isla, who's joining me live from outside the Inox multiplex. You know, Mufti, this is a historic day for Jammu and Kashmir. Now that the theatre opening has been announced in Pulwama and other areas of Jammu and Kashmir, this is something that the people of the valley have been looking forward to for quite some time now.
Absolutely, and there were a lot of attempts in the last 30 years when people wanted to reopen cinema. However, that could not happen because either these people couldn't sustain it or people had lost actually the trust in cinema. But clearly this building which you see in the background is the Inox building. It is the multiplex where 3 screens would beam that picture. In fact, today they're beaming Lal Singh Chadha. Sometime back I happened to be inside the hall where LG inaugurated this particular multiplex. So clearly a large number of people have come. The media persons are very much here along with the owner of this. The LG, we believe, is getting ready to go back. As I said a few minutes back, he did inaugurate this and he did speak about revival of cinema here in the valley. On Sunday he had gone to Pulwama and Shopian, where he kind of made announcements that makeshift cinemas in Shopian and Pulwama, which are otherwise affected by militancy, they would be opened. And in fact, we took a tour yesterday of those areas where people really were very keen to see that cinema beginning again. Clearly, I was also excited in that hall when those trailers started to run, and I actually happened to watch cinema after a long time. The last time I remember was some 10 years back when an attempt was made to reopen Bollywood, I beg your pardon, Broadway cinema, which however didn't take because the owners had to close it. One hopes that there's good response here. Both the LG as well as Vijay, who is the owner of this, did say that they expect a huge response here because people have really been starved of entertainment, and this is actually one one big complex here, which will now host a lot of films. To begin with, as I said, Lal Singh Chadda is really that's being shown out there, and large number of youngsters will really be coming.
Mufti. In fact, such beautiful way of putting it. And the fact that you say that you yourself have not managed to watch a movie in the valley for 10 years. So, of course, this is a historic day for Jammu and Kashmir. Of course, the area also is very significant because so far the only kind of news that's coming out of the valley was about targeted killings or terrorist attacks, especially at these two places, talking about Pulwama also and Shopian for that matter. But here, this theatre is not just about exhibiting films, it's also for the skill development of the youth. So clearly, there will be a lot of activities that will happen in the valley, and especially for the youth over there.
Oh, absolutely. Look, a lot of things are happening for the youths to begin with. As I said, cinema halls being opened. As I speak, the LG is moving out, and as we talked about his inaugurating this cinema. Now he's on his way back. You'll see police officials also walking out. But what is going to happen is that large number of youngsters will now come to this particular place to entertain themselves. There's a very kind of a comforting wave inside the hall, a very good Dolby theatre, which has a lot of sound effects, and then you have 2X, which is again a technical thing. This is the latest state-of-art cinema. But having said about what avenues the youngsters will have in terms of entertainment, this is one. Then there's cinemas which would be put across the valley in all the 10 districts, and apart from that, new playgrounds are being inaugurated. You have new stadiums which have been opened in the last couple of months. The LG going in even in downtown Srinagar, where otherwise you don't have avenues like stadium. Now multi-purpose stadiums are also being opened. So a lot of things really coming up, especially for youngsters, to wean them away from the environment of militancy, and clearly that seems to be the message that LG delivered today also here while inaugurating this multiplex which is behind me.
Mufti, Lal Singh Chadda, you said. How was the film, and of course how was the atmosphere, the kind of turnout that you have seen?
Well, the turnout is very select because it happens to be a select gathering, and clearly, as I said, for the public, this multiplex is going to open from 30th September. Then you will get to see the kind of response. But going by what the feedback the cinema owners are getting, they think that it's going to be a big success. Because as I said, avenues of entertainment are very limited in the valley. There's no nightlife, and the cinema owners did tell us that there will be special kind of screenings for ladies, for youngsters, for old, as well as for students. And I actually am extremely keen to watch when that thing starts happening here. We'll try to bring in my family, but you have to really wait for next week when it will be open for the masses.
Right. Mufti, the fact that there are many issues in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in the valley, where political parties would love to bicker on. But this is one thing that I believe has, got a unanimous recognition from across political spectrums. So just take us, our viewers, through the kind of reactions that this has entailed now that we're talking about a historic day in Jammu and Kashmir.
The political parties have not said a word about this, but one believes that they're going to welcome it, since this is for the youngsters, this is for the people of the valley, this is for people who were deprived of entertainment, who were really deprived of options to go out in the evening and enjoy themselves, and now there's a facility after a long time. Remember, In the pre-19 eras, Srinagar had some 10 odd cinemas which had to be shut down because of militancy. There was a bar on watching movies. But now with this edition which is coming in, the Inox multiplex, clearly people hoping that they will be able to watch a film on a big screen, which has not otherwise happened, because generally people do watch television. There's a lot of craze for films. A lot of films were actually being shot in the valley, and clearly early in the day, the owner of this particular cinema, Mr. Vijay, saying that he wants to revive that bond, those old ties between Bollywood and Kashmir, and here is what has happened, and that's why he has constructed this lovely facility out there. That is essentially to bring back those memories which Valley always associated with celluloid, and one hopes that it's a success, because in the past we have seen, cinemas being reopened, but somehow they couldn't tick. But Mr. Dar hoping and praying that this one clicks and the youngsters will finally have an avenue where they're going to enjoy and entertain themselves, and that's a prayer.
Mufti,
which
the fact that you talk about the
watch
connect of the
film
valley
today,
along with
have
Hindi
list.
cinema for that matter, everybody goes back in time, because the film walas love to come to the valley, shoot their films over here. Of course, things have been different of late, but 23 years when the valley did not have such a facility, and it's only after over 2 decades that this is happening. Of course, the youth will be really, really excited. The kind of films that are about to be screened, we believe Vikram Vedha and Ponniyin Selvan are the 2 films which are right now going to be screened. Just take us through those developments also, since you were also talking about the history and Srinagar's, and for that matter Kashmir's tryst with movies.
I mean, as I said, Bollywood had a huge connection with Valley. Most of the old movies which one saw, be it Shami Kapoor, Raj Kapoor, Dilip Kumar, Dharmendra, Amitabh Bachchan, they all shot. In fact, there was a clip which was shown at the screen today, wherein these all sequences ran simultaneously, and people did. I did speak to some of the elderly people. They were saying that, look, this was how Kashmir was, but unfortunately the time after 90 was extremely bad in terms of militancy, and then all of a sudden cinemas had to be shut. There were some 10 cinemas in Srinagar city only, and then you had different kind of cinemas, at least 4 or 5 in different districts, but as I said, all had to close. But now these small baby steps wherein they are again going to revive cinema, that is something which people have been really excited with. And today the LG saying that, well, this was not a one-off cinema here. They're going to revive and revamp all the cinemas which are there. And in fact, many people have in fact got in touch with the LG administration saying that, well, they need some kind of an aid, some kind of a help from the government, wherein they again are going to start those cinemas inside not only Srinagar city but also in other districts, so that people will have a feel of how Bollywood is doing these days.
Right, Mufti, in fact, stay on with us. Now, this is a major endorsement for infrastructure in the valley as well, as cinemas have returned to Jammu and Kashmir, and this has happened after an intermission of so many years. Earlier, Manoj Sinha had inaugurated the cinema halls in Pulwama and Shopian district, dedicating them to youngsters. In fact, my colleague Mufti has gotten us this ground report. Take a look.
After 3 decades, the cinemas have returned to Kashmir. On Sunday, LG Manoj Sinha kicked off 2 makeshift cinema halls cum auditoriums in militancy-affected Shopian and Pulwama. This was to wean away youth from joining subversive activities.
इस तरह के मल्टीपर्पज सिनेमा हॉल हम लोग बनाएंगे। आज पुलवामा के नौजवानों के लिए समर्पित कर दिया गया।
The biggest beneficiaries would be students who would not only enjoy the cinemas but would also be given education through audiovisual learning.
पुलवामा में बहुत पहली बार खुला है ये सिनेमा और यहाँ पे आज एलजी मनोज सिन्हा आए थे इसकी इनॉग्रेशन करने के लिए और बहुत सारे स्कूल से हम बच्चे जमा हुए थे आज यहाँ पे। उनके साथ हमने बैठ के कुछ क्लिप्स देखी हैं। सब लोगों को, यहाँ के लोगों को बहुत एक्सपोजर मिलने वाला है, वरना तो बाहर जाना पड़ता था ऐसा कुछ देखने के लिए।
लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर आए थे यहाँ पे और उन्होंने इस सिनेमा का और इनॉग्रेशन किया पुलवामा में और उनसे बात भी हुई बहुत सारों की और उनने यहाँ पे इनॉग्रेशन जब की तो बहुत अच्छा हुआ कि एक्सपोजर अब बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा।
While all the 20 districts across the Union Territory would have mini cinema halls, the biggest and the first multiplex in Kashmir would start today. The 520-seater, 3-storied multiplex is a state-of-the-art facility and is set to attract entertainment-starved valley residents. The move will also regain Bollywood's lost connection with Kashmir.
Bollywood और Kashmir का रिश्ता is very old relationship. I think the first film here was shot Barsat by Raj Kapoor. So we want to revive that. We want to revive the connection of Bollywood and Kashmir. We also want to give full entertainment to our children, to our students, to our elderly. There must be at least 50% people in this state who have not seen, in the valley, who have not seen a film in a cinema hall.
Between 2000 to 2018, many cinema owners tried to revamp 4 of the 10 cinema halls in Srinagar, but due to rising militancy, they had to lock up the facilities again.
Culture of cinema viewing in Kashmir had almost died down with the onset of militancy in early 90s. However, in the last 3 decades, many people tried to revive cinema, but just couldn't sustain it and had to shut it. Now, for the first time in Srinagar, you have a multiplex like this, which will provide a lot of comforting environment in Kashmir, where otherwise people are deprived to watch the big screen. In Srinagar, this is Mufti Islam.
And Mufti continues to be with us on the broadcast. Mufti, like I was mentioning, this is a historic day for Jammu and Kashmir. After 32 years, Kashmir, the valley is seeing the reopening of one of the theatres. Of course, we're talking about an INOX. Just take our viewers through the facilities that they are going to see and the Kashmiri elements that you see around.
Well, before I come to that, we're being joined by a guest, Dr. Suneem, who just watched the movie, some small clips, and I saw you were laughing. You're very happy today.
Mufti Saab, I am a avid cinema lover. And cinema is what I live for. Like other people, you know, there's this cult who lives for cricket in our country. I am somebody who lives for cinema.
Okay. And
yes.
Today you saw finally big
it's nothing
beaming films.
Not finally. I've been watching films on big screen since childhood. लेकिन कश्मीर में इस चीज़ का बहुत वक्त से इंतज़ार था हमें, and it's nothing short of historic today.
Okay. And you're not waiting and watching Lal Singh Chadda? I mean,
I will definitely watch the show. That's more important than anything.
Because LG Saab is gone out, so they're again going to start it. But to give you a glimpse of how this hall is, a lot of good chairs. I mean, this is the modern technology we're being told, and some Dolby effect I was talking about gives a better sound effect. Dolby Atmos. What is it, sir?
Dolby Atmos is a stereo system in the modern cinema. With the advent of corporatization in the cinema, which gives you a 7-dimensional experience of the sound.
All right. Yeah, so I could feel that.
You could actually feel yourself as being a part of what's happening on the silver screen.
Okay. And how is the response of the people who had come with you? I saw a lot of your friends coming in and enjoying cinema after a long time.
Everybody's
here
excited.
In the valley.
Everybody's excited. Cinema is a genuine form of entertainment. This is your window to the exterior world.
Right.
This is where you get a cue about how your emotions should be shaped up. I mean, how you should exercise your emotions with your relationships, your brother, sister, father, mother, the woman you love. This is where you learn. This is where you learn everything. And this is a genuine form of entertainment. You don't learn everything from the books. You don't learn everything from the paintings and murals. This is one of that genuine form of entertainment besides other forms of entertainment and art that we know.
Come back, sir, after having a sip of coffee. Join us here. So that's the feeling here in the valley.
Absolutely.
Especially in Srinagar, where clearly you saw people really sharing their sentiments and how happy they ought to watch a movie on a big screen, which otherwise was not possible in last 10 to 12 years.
Mufti, you know,
But,
we were talking about the
clearly,
beauty of
this is-
Kashmir and how cinema has been at the forefront of bringing that to the people who have probably never been to Kashmir. You know, we go back to the Shami Kapoor days, talk about Kashmir Ki Kali with he singing the number on a shikara. That was the beauteous, picturesque Kashmir that our movies has brought for us. And it was actually the sad and sore point that Kashmiris could not actually see the rise of cinema from then on. We still reminisce, you know, the old days, the beautiful old days, the golden times of the film industry. Now, every Kashmiri can go ahead and watch it on the big screen. Just take our viewers through the kind of advance bookings have they gotten opened. 30th of September is when you're talking about that the movie goers can actually come in and witness it on the big screen. What is the status there?
Look, as I said, 30th of September is when this screen will open for the common masses. Today, it was a select gathering where dignitaries, including the LG, had come in. They inaugurated it. But talking about the response, the owners are saying that there is tremendous response. To begin with, Lal Singh Chadha, which is the movie, the owners had got constant feedback from the people that this is a film they want to see. To begin with, you talked about Bollywood's relations with Valley. Well, there's been a lot of shootings which have actually happened. Not only Bollywood, even Tollywood has come. We've shot the Valley's Silvan surroundings really being used by every filmmaker, be it the southern filmmakers who had come a few years back, the people who make soaps, television soaps. They've always trained cameras on the mountains, on the streams of Valley, and really, you know, filmed those and captured those in their cameras. But this was which was missing here in the Valley in the last 10 years. Although I did talk about briefly that some people tried to revamp cinema, which however couldn't happen. But now one hopes and prays that this sticks and this works very well, and youngsters as well as old people, they get an opportunity to come here with their families and watch. As we speak, clearly the filmmakers are trying to, the cinema owners and the management here, they're trying to put together a film here, and one hopes that, you know, this is how this screen will operate from 30th onwards, and one also hopes that these halls, they are packed to full when that event really starts to take place in the Valley.
Absolutely.
So clearly a big day for the Valley, because the Valley really was deprived of entertainment, and one hopes that this kicks off and people are able to come here with their families and they watch these movies which they had waited with bated breath.
Right, Mufti, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy Lal Singh Chadha, and of course a historic day for the Valley as the magic of the movies is back in the magical Kashmir. We leave it at that and move on to this next big story that we're tracking on the broadcast. Now, this is to do with the leadership of the Congress party. Now, after growing chorus for Rahul Gandhi's elevation to the Congress top post, Shashi Tharoor could contest the election to be the next party president, as Sonia Gandhi seems to have approved his candidature after he reached out to her in a meeting on Monday. Meanwhile, Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot will also reportedly file his nomination on the 26th or the 27th of September and is likely to be Gandhi's choice. Now, if this happens, the contest will turn into the Gandhis versus the G23, while Congress will be releasing the list of delegates who will elect the party chief today. The list of those contesting the polls will be out on October 1st. And we've got some breaking news on the same story. Sources have told CNN News 18 that Gandhis and Congress will not put out any official candidate. So this is what we are bringing to you as per sources. We are being told that Gandhis and Congress will not be putting out any official candidate when it comes to this fight for the top post in the Congress party. My colleague Pallavi gets us more details. Yes, Pallavi.
Yes, so a clarity over here is and something which Jairam Ramesh himself put out yesterday in his detailed statement, that there are no approvals being given, no approval being sought. Anyone who really wants to contest the elections does have the right to do so. But what we are also picking up is that the Gandhis have made it very clear, particularly Sonia Gandhi, to all those who have been meeting her over the last few days and even those who met her yesterday, that there's going to be no such thing as an official Congress candidate. I mean, even Ashok Gehlot should not be seen as an official Congress candidate. If he wants to file his nomination papers, then so be it. It's up to the electors, it's up to the delegates who they really want to vote for. I know this is going to be largely seen as an official point of view, because behind the scenes there are always going to be several permutations and combinations. In fact, since morning also there have been people who have been going in to the election office to find out whether their name is on the electors list or not. What we expect is that from 26th, when the Navratras begin, that's when the nominations will start be coming in. Ashok Gehlot is also likely to be one of those. But the Gandhis are going to be remaining largely neutral. They're not going to be actively campaigning for any one candidate, because this does throw up a problem. Because already the critics are saying that whoever becomes from a non-Gandhi, will the remote control still be with the Gandhis? I think the Gandhis at least want to send out the message, we are not going to be campaigning for anyone. We are not going to be recommending anyone or approving or disapproving any such name.
So Pallavi, essentially they are trying hard to pull this across as a democratic process. However, what happens to all that news about Sonia Gandhi endorsing Shashi Tharoor's name? What happens on that account?
Well, again, that has been completely rejected. I mean, sources close to Sonia Gandhi has said that in that meeting which took place, there was no approval sought, nor any approval given. So that's one news which certainly has been rejected by the Gandhis. The other important thing is, of course, the multiple resolutions which were passed yesterday. I think that's going to be a bit of an embarrassment, because that makes it look like, you know, will that remote control be with the Gandhis, or you're setting the stage up for a wildcard entry from Rahul Gandhi to actually go ahead and file in his nomination papers.
So Pallavi, what does this essentially mean for the Congress party? Not officially putting out a name, so that means anybody who chooses to actually contest for the big elections can go ahead and put his own candidature. Is that it?
Yes. You know, the biggest criticism which the Congress has faced is that there's always been a dynastic Raj. I think at this point of time, the Congress wants to blunt that narrative, and the Gandhis particularly want to do so. So if you give an approval for a name, then you know, I remember the same criticism which came in when Sonia Gandhi had recommended Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister. For at least 10 years, it was believed that she was the one who was calling the shots. I think this time round, they want to change that narrative, that we are having elections unlike other political parties.
Okay. So, Pallavi, when we talk about the front runners, of course, there are these two names of Mr. Ashok Gehlot and Mr. Shashi Tharoor doing the rounds. You spoke about the resolutions that have been passed by 6 to 7 states approving of, you know, Rahul Gandhi's name as the Congress president. But the word from the party high command is something else.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, there was a statement which was also issued by the Chief Election Officer, that's Mr. Madhusudan Mistry, who said, and he told me this also, that, you know, the resolutions mean nothing. It's not going to have any impact on the poll process. If there are going to be more names, they are going to be allowed to contest the elections. And of course, it's going to be a free-for-all, a transparent poll process. More than one name means there's going to be a contest. If there's only one person, but naturally that person then gets deemed elected as the party president.
So why are they passed? If the resolutions are not meaning anything, then why are they passed with Rahul Gandhi's name? That is also the big question that the Congress must feel.
More than that, I would want to ask them this question is that if you are uncomfortable with these resolutions being passed by the state units, why isn't there any statement or comment which has been made by the Congress party officially yet rejecting these resolutions? Because if you allow these resolutions to exist, and you know, there were many states yesterday, today, some more states like Jharkhand also coming up, it will be seen as the Gandhis endorsing these resolutions, even though the Gandhis want to send out the message that these resolutions mean nothing much.
Right. Pallavi, thank you so much for all that input there. We're quickly moving on to this next piece of breaking news, which is to do with more updates when it comes to the Chandigarh University MMS scandal. Now, 2 days after the incident, CNN News 18 is tracking the investigation process, and we're being told that the blackmail angle is currently being probed. Multiple calls were received by the accused girl, and this was by someone unknown. In fact, the state, the number, and now the other accused is under the scanner. In fact, his whereabouts are being traced by the teams that are being formed in the matter. So this is the inside track of the investigation that we are bringing to our viewers. This is to do with the blackmail angle that is currently being probed, we are told, and also how the two accused also are being questioned. My colleague Nikhil, who's brought us all the details, is joining me on the broadcast. Nikhil, what more can you tell us about this investigation? Which way is it headed?
Well, Greha, as per the further details which what you have said so far, the fourth accused with the name Mohit, he is currently being questioned by the senior police official. Already the SIT has been formed. It is being, headed over by the women DCP. In fact, they are heading the team. So far, 3 of the accused have already been arrested. They were produced in the court of law yesterday, and in fact, they were sent to the 7 days police remand. But now the angle comes of the fourth accused with the name Mohit. He is being questioned, and what we are getting to know from the senior police officials is that he is the same person who called continuously and blackmailed the accused girl Ismaili. He said that he has a video of the accused girl in his possession, and if she will not share the further videos of another girl who are residing in the hostel, then he will public the content, the digital content of the accused girl Ismaili. So what we are also getting to know that the Ismaili, the girl who has been arrested so far, she actually shared some of the photos with the fourth accused, but those photos were not objectionable in nature. They were just random photos of other girls sitting and roaming around in the hostel premises. But yes, she made some of the attempt. This is the big part and the crucial part. She made some of the attempt to actually shoot other girls inside the bathroom and the objectionable videos as well. But this is the matter of investigation as to how clear and how many videos were actually shot by the accused girl Ismaili.
Right.
Were there,
Nikhil, in fact, stay on with us. We are getting some breaking news on this very story, as we are being told that the fourth accused person in this particular case is now being questioned. His name is Mohit, and he is, in all likelihood, all set to be detained anytime soon. Nikhil continues to be with us on the broadcast. Nikhil, now we are told that a fourth person is now being questioned. All likelihood, he is going to be detained as well.
Well, that's right, Greha. This is what we were mentioning you earlier as well, that the fourth person with the name Mohit, he is currently being questioned, and if the need be, then the senior police official will actually detain him. Later, he will be arrested and then he will be produced in the court of law. But so far, what the investigations have revealed so far is that in the year 2021, the accused Ismaili, she shared one of the objectionable video with her boyfriend, but thereafter, post 2021, no videos were exchanged between these. This is something which is being claimed by both the accused, but now the angle has come in for the fourth accused who is being questioned. So he is the one person who actually blackmailed the girl Ismaili. He was calling continuously, he was blackmailing, and there is this money angle as well which is being traced, which is being investigated by the senior police official. So the story has gone further with the entrance of the fourth accused. So now we need to see as to were there another videos as well, because if we talk about the cell phone, all the 3 cell phone of all the accused, they deleted their data, with the sight of the fear, and also so these are the visuals we are showing you from outside the Kharar police station. This is the same police station where we are seeing some of the movement. This is the place where all the 3 accused they have been kept, and in fact the lawyer of the accused boy, Sunny Mehta, the lawyer of Sunny, he has been changed. So the father of the accused Sunny, he has hired some new lawyer who has come here, and in fact we have been told that the family members as well of Sunny, he has arrived at this particular station. So this is the police station of the Kharar where all the accused have been kept. So now the angles which is being probed, Greha, is of the money angle, and another details which are coming in that yes, she made an attempt to actually shoot some of the other videos as well of the other girls, under the pressure of the fourth person. So these are the details currently with us. Back to you,
All right,
Greha.
Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you establish more details on this story that we continue to track on CNN News 18. Meanwhile, let's shift focus. As a leader of Islamic outfit Popular Front of India, Abu Bakr Siddique, was arrested on Monday in connection with the killing of an RSS leader, S.K. Srinivasan, in Kerala's Palakkad district in April this year. Rejecting the charges against Siddique, the PFI accused the CPIM-led LDF government of trying to hunt down its workers in the state, as it was upset with the huge turnout in a rally organized by the PFI in Kozhikode recently. Over 20 people who were workers of or affiliated to the PFI or its political offshoot Social Democratic Party of India were arrested in connection with Srinivasan's killing. And now we are getting you an update on the probe into the RSS workers' murder. 27 people have been arrested so far, with all having links to the PFI or the affiliated groups. And sources are also telling us that evidence like CCTV footage, eyewitness accounts and statements have been found against the arrested accused, Abu Bakr Siddique. My colleague Neetu joins me on the broadcast. Ritu, in fact, the fact that we have seen more and more arrests that are happening in this particular case, of course, there are denials also to speak, but there is enough account to probably implicate Mr. Siddique.
That's what the police is saying. See, in this particular case, the police have already registered charge sheet against 26 people within 90 days of the crime itself. At the time itself, they had informed court that there will be more people. They are looking into the conspiracy angle also, the larger perspective, not just people who took part in the actual crime, but the conspirators, the people who helped them to hide after committing the crime. So all this was looked into. Now, according to the police, they have eyewitness statements against Abu Bakr Siddique. They have CCTV recordings and call records, tower locations, and also call records with him and the accused in this case. Only on that particular time, before or after that, there have been no calls to those numbers. So all this are basically the evidence that the police is depending on, and the police say that a thorough investigation was done before making this arrest, because when they come to leaders, they have to ensure that they have all the evidence. So so that is what the police is saying. The police also indicating to us that there will be more arrests in the coming days in this particular incident.
Neetu, just take us through, this entire murder. This happened in April, we are told, of course, and the first arrest was made in the name of Mr. Abu Bakr Siddique in this case. Now 27 people have been arrested. Of course, all of them, there are evidences against them. They end up accusing the LDF-led government in the state. However, what is the latest that are coming out when it comes to the probe angle and also this murder in question?
26 people have already been arrested and charge sheet have been filed against them. It was Abu Bakr Siddique that has been arrested yesterday in this case. The murder happened on 16th of April, and immediately after that, according to the police, this was a murder in retaliation for the murder of a PFI leader, Subair, in Palakkad district. And in that case, RSS activists or people affiliated to them have also been arrested. So these were two murders that happened within 24 hours in Palakkad district. So the probe, special investigation teams are looking into both these cases. Now, in this particular case, what the investigation team, though the initial set of arrests have happened, their charge sheets have been filed, the police is still looking into the larger conspiracy angle. How many more people are involved in this? They're saying they are looking into all this right now, and they are indicating to us there will be more arrests in the coming days.
All right, Neetu, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. We're getting some more breaking news at this hour on CNN News 18, and this is to do with the Bharat Jodo Yatra, as the BJP now has ended up accusing the Congress of appeasement politics and communalization. They have now cited a picture of Rahul Gandhi with a burqa-clad girl during his Bharat Jodo Yatra. So BJP now ended up accusing Congress. They are calling out appeasement politics, also communalization. They have released a picture of Rahul Gandhi with a girl who is clad in a burqa. And with that picture, they are claiming Congress's appeasement politics and communalization. Of course, the narrative and the discourse is going down to this. We would have to get in a word by either the Congress party and the BJP on the kind of reactions that the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is led by Rahul Gandhi, is really getting. However, this certain picture of Rahul Gandhi along with a girl who is dressed in a certain attire, of course, has got down to this kind of discourse. Now, the BJP is accusing the Congress and Rahul Gandhi of appeasement politics. A lot of reactions continue to come in when it comes to Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. The narrative also has, gone south in a lot of ways where Rahul Gandhi has been accused of certain things. In this case, of course, this picture that's now been released by BJP claiming Rahul's appeasement politics has come to light. And that's the tweet that's been put out by C.T. Ravi of the BJP. And that, in fact, is something that is talking about Rahul along with a girl who is clad in a burqa. And along with that picture, they are talking about appeasement politics by the Gandhis. We'll try and get in a word on this story. We can see that C.T. Ravi has gone ahead and spoken about patronizing a controversial Christian pastor, because remember that entire meeting of Rahul Gandhi with the pastor had come to light, and how the BJP had ended up attacking Rahul Gandhi back then also. And now again with this picture of Rahul Gandhi along with a girl who's clad in burqa, they are talking about how Gandhis are communal, and they also end up quoting fake Gandhis. That is what this tweet is reading. We are putting out that tweet for our viewers. This has been tweeted out by C.T. Ravi, in this case accusing the Gandhis of politicization and of course appeasement politics that is being played out in the name of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. That's the latest that we are bringing for our viewers when it comes to the kind of controversies that are happening when it comes to Rahul Gandhi's Yatra. You can see the picture also. We've just put out that picture. This is the little girl who is wearing a burqa and a hijab, and Rahul Gandhi is walking along with her. And this is the picture that's been cited by the BJP. My colleague Pallavi joins us on the broadcast. Pallavi, which way is this narrative headed?
There's a lot of hijab, forced girls and women are forced to wear that. We saw what happened in Iran, and we talk about women empowerment. And this picture is, of course, a part of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which he's undertaking and which is going through Kerala. He has been facing a lot of criticism when he met an anti-Hindu kind of a Christian pastor a few days back.
Yes.
And now the latest picture which we have put out of him holding a hand of a young girl wearing a hijab, and this is being used by the BJP to make the point that this is a regressive mentality of the Congress party. They talk about women empowerment, but they are, by doing so, actually promoting and allowing the use of hijab even on young girls.
Okay. Okay. Pallavi, the fact that this matter is still in court, of course, there has been so much of debate that has happened ever since we've seen what is happening in Tehran, in the Iranian capital. Of course, the narrative and the comparison to Indian context is happening, come what may, even though the matter is sub judice. And this has been the politics at play when it comes to down south, whether it is Kerala or Karnataka, the situation remains the same.
In fact, in Karnataka, I remember when there was this outrage and many girl students were asked to take off the hijab at a school over there in Karnataka. The Congress party actually had come out in their support, saying it's a right of a woman to dress the way they want to. But this is a thin line. This is also a very grey area. In some cases, it's been seen as imposition. In some cases, the family thinks it's a kind of an empowerment, and you should not meddle with our religious sentiments. Congress has tried to take a safe line on that, often having to boomerang. And I think as we play out these pictures of him holding the hand of this young girl wearing a hijab, in the backdrop of what happened in Iran, this is considered to be indoctrination, which small children don't even know what they are made to do, because there is a kind of brainwashing which is taking place from within the society, from the immediate family. And therefore, the attack from Rahul Gandhi, from the BJP, we'll have to wait to see what reaction really comes in from the Congress party, because even as we speak, there's of course a press conference going on.
Pallavi, the essential point to note here is the matter that is in court right now is about a uniform dressing in schools and colleges when it comes to women who are clad in a hijab. However, BJP here trying to take this across, obviously the detractors would go ahead and say that this is also securing political brownie points when it comes to the kind of sentiments that have emanated out of Karnataka, and then targeting Rahul Gandhi and the Congress of appeasement politics.
Yeah, I mean, Congress in its defense, I think will say this is a diversionary tactic by the BJP. And second is we can't control how people are going to be dressing and joining the yatra because these are all impromptu people who join in. They said pretty much the same thing when Rahul Gandhi had a meeting with the pastor. But in politics, it's all about perception. In politics, it's all about how you react and how the points are made against you. And the Bharat Jodo Yatra may have gathered eyeballs, but for many would say for all the wrong reasons. And this picture of Rahul Gandhi wearing a hijab, even as the matter is being heard in court, and there's a worldwide condemnation of women being forced to wear it in the name of religion and religious sentiments, I think this is going to put them on a little bit of a sticky wicket.
Is there a word from the Congress? In fact, Pallavi, stay on with me. We've got Ratan Sharda on the phone line to react to this controversy that is emanating. Mr. Sharda, how do you respond to what has been just tweeted out by the BJP, of course, with this picture of Rahul Gandhi with a little girl who's sporting a hijab?
Well, I understand BJP's reaction. Now do I want to react to somebody else's reaction? BJP has its own reasons for reacting the way it has, because it's a political battle between Congress and BJP. For me, I think as a political observer, Rahul Gandhi is not even aware what is unleashing. By very patronizingly holding a small girl in hijab with her hand, he is trying to pass a message that hijab is all right and it is good for girls. While for a small girl to be put into parda or hijab without even her assent or knowledge, actually is an oppression. Did she know what she's doing, and does he really believe in progressivism? Does he believe in liberalism? Does he believe in equality, gender equality, and the right of women to decide what they want to wear or not? So these are serious issues which I find him intellectually totally bereft of any idea. So when he gets into such a situation, it is a pity that he doesn't even know the social norms, the issues involved in patronizing these kind of people. This reminds me of the earliest patronizing of orthodox elements by the Congress from Mopla days onwards, when they patronized the worst orthodoxy instead of supporting the modern Muslims. We are still facing the same
Mr. Sharda, explain to me, how is it patronizing? This is a little girl. I mean, had it not been the election time, probably this picture would have, and had it not been the hijab issue, why this nitpicking? Is it only to secure political brownie points in this case?
As I said, Rahul doesn't even know that he's, in fact, by this behavior, whether it is election or not election, he's supporting the orthodox elements. As I said, an adult woman I can understand. A small girl who doesn't even know, who has no right to what she wants to wear or what she decides, he is in fact supporting those orthodox elements. That is my view. That right from 1920s, Congress has always supported the orthodox 7th century mindset people and not supported modern Muslims. That is a bane of Indian secularism. That is a bane of Muslim society.
But Mr. Sharda, you just said that this is a very, very little girl who doesn't know what she wants or not. Of course, she is following her family's footstep. What is he supposed to do? I just want to understand what the argument is that the BJP is trying to make over here.
As I said, I don't even know what the BJP said. I am just saying what I feel. Okay,
all right. I'm so sorry, Mr. Sharda. I'd have to just interrupt you there. We're cutting across to the BJP press conference by Gaurav Bhatia.
मेरी तिजोरी में आ जाए, जनता लुट गई तो क्या हुआ? और इसके बाद अभी और भी तस्वीर है. ये देखिए, एक और तस्वीर. ये तस्वीर क्या कहती है? सौरभ भारद्वाज, विधायक ग्रेटर कैलाश, इनके भी बड़े करीबी हैं और बताया जाता है बहुत से रुपया इनका भी इसी में लगा है. ये चुनाव लड़ते हैं तो जो तस्वीर सामने आती है, के.एस. लांबा विधानसभा अध्यक्ष, यही के.एस. लांबा है जो पार्टनर है यूनिवर्सल डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर में, जिनको लाइसेंस दिया है. एक तस्वीर नहीं. आपको मैंने पहली तस्वीर अरविंद केजरीवाल के साथ दिखाई, दूसरी में दिखाया कि वो प्रत्याशी है आम आदमी पार्टी के, और सौरभ भारद्वाज जो एमएलए हैं उनके भी बड़े नजदीकी हैं. और इसके बाद क्या होता है? ये एक और तस्वीर देखिए. अब इस तस्वीर में गजब यह है विधायक सौरभ भारद्वाज उनका हाथ पकड़े हुए हैं। ये हमारे केस लांबा उनका हाथ पकड़े हैं, कह रहे हैं भ्रष्टाचार करो, पीछे से जोर मैं लगा रहा हूं। चिंता नहीं करना, अरविंद केजरीवाल को मोटी रकम देनी है, हम सब मिलकर लूटेंगे। किसी विधायक के साथ इतनी नजदीकियां चिंताजनक है, परेशान करने वाली है, व्यथित करती हैं। अब एक बात बिल्कुल स्पष्ट हो गई है, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी जब कोई बयान देते हैं, हालांकि संवैधानिक पद पे हैं, उसमें वजन नहीं होता है क्योंकि ईमानदारी नहीं होती, तथ्य नहीं होते, प्रमाण नहीं होता। लेकिन जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी कोई बात रखती है तो वो ठोक के रखती है, प्रमाण के साथ रखती है, और ऐसे रखती है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी निरुत्तर हो जाए, एक प्रश्न का उत्तर नहीं देते। लेकिन हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं, हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं कि इसी मंच से सवाल पूछते रहेंगे, और केवल सवाल नहीं पूछेंगे, यह सुनिश्चित होगा कि एक दिन अरविंद केजरीवाल स्वयं कहेंगे कि मैं कट्टर बेईमान हूं। आज के मेरे सवाल जो हैं, आप अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, मनीष सिसोदिया जी, कृपया करके यह बताइए, इन करीबियों को भ्रष्टाचार की रेवड़ियां क्यों बांट रहे थे? करीबी है ये तो स्पष्ट है, इसलिए यह सवाल नहीं पूछूंगा। जैसा मैंने कहा, दो जिस्म एक जान, तो ये जो करीबियों को आप भ्रष्टाचार की रेवड़ियां बांटते हैं, क्या यही आपका रेवड़ी कल्चर है? दूसरा बड़ा मुद्दा आप याद करिए, हमने उठाया था, राजस्व का नुकसान करके राज्य कोष में जो 144 करोड़ रुपया था उसको माफ किया गया। आज ये बड़ा खुलासा करते हुए दूसरा सवाल पूछता हूं, जो हमारी जानकारी है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कट्टर बेईमान जी, इस 144 करोड़ में 46% इसी कंपनी यूनिवर्सल ट्रेडर्स का है। 46%, और उसकी राशि हुई करीब करीब 66 करोड़ रुपया। 66 करोड़। तो मेरा दूसरा सवाल अरविंद केजरीवाल जी इस मंच से यह है, क्या यह सही है, ये जो यूनिवर्सल ट्रेडर्स नाम की कंपनी है, और ये जो दो जिस्म एक जान खड़े हैं यहां पे, इनका 66 करोड़ रुपया आपने इसीलिए वापस किया कि ये वापस आपकी भ्रष्टाचारी तिजोरी में वापस आना है। 40%, 66 करोड़ रुपया जनता को लगा दिया इन्होंने चूना। और एक सवाल और यह पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या यह सत्य नहीं है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कि जिस जिस को आप सर्टिफिकेट देते हैं कि वो कट्टर ईमानदार है, वो व्यक्ति जेल की सलाखों के पीछे 105 दिन से सतेंद्र जैन है। 105 दिन से ऐसा लगता है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी नहीं हो गए, सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन की प्रिंटिंग मशीन हो गए। भ्रष्टाचार करो, अरविंद केजरीवाल की तिजोरी में रुपया पहुंचाओ, सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन की प्रिंटिंग मशीन से सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा, कट्टर ईमानदार है। और इसके बाद यह कहना जरूरी है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आप जितना भी प्रयास क्यों ना कर लें, आपको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। वो दिन आएगा, जरूर आएगा, जब जनता देखेगी कि ये माफी वीर अरविंद केजरीवाल सबके सामने कबूलेंगे कि हां, आम आदमी पार्टी सबसे भ्रष्टाचारी पार्टी है और उसका कोई सरगना है तो वो अरविंद केजरीवाल है। और ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा जब आप कहते हैं आम आदमी पार्टी के लीडर और कार्यकर्ता स्वतंत्रता सेनानी हैं, तो जनता कहती है स्वतंत्रता सेनानी नहीं है, बेईमानी की निशानी है। जहां जहां घूमते हैं केवल और केवल भ्रष्टाचार दिखाई देता है। और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आपकी ये जो भ्रष्टाचार की 100% गारंटी है, हर मंत्रालय में जो आपने भ्रष्टाचार किया है, यह कहना गलत नहीं होगा कि इस प्रेस वार्ता के बाद अरविंद केजरीवाल जनता के बीच में जाने लायक नहीं बचेंगे। उनका मुंह काला है, नियत काली है और जनता इनको सबक सिखाएगी। इतना भ्रष्टाचार आपने किया है और हम भी आपको बख्शने वाले नहीं हैं। हमारे किसी प्रश्न का उत्तर ना अरविंद केजरीवाल देते हैं, ना एक्यूज्ड नंबर 1 मनीष सिसोदिया देते हैं, लेकिन जनता
Coming out of that press conference, some breaking news is coming in on CNN News 18. Now, amid the hijab hearing in the Supreme Court, the Solicitor General has told the court that in 2022, a movement was started by the Popular Front of India on social media to start wearing hijab. It is not a spontaneous act of some students. The students, in fact, were a part of a larger conspiracy that is being alleged by the Solicitor General. In fact, the students were acting on instructions and on the behest of PFI. My colleague Ananya is joining us for more details. Ananya, this is coming out of the court at the moment. Of course, the PFI angle has been brought to fore. Just take us through all that is ensuing.
Well, definitely. Remember that after Mr. Dave and the petitioners have concluded their arguments, the Solicitor General of India began the arguments on the side of the government. Constantly it is being argued by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta that it was not the government which was preventing the minorities, but then it had to come in after agitations that erupted in the state of Karnataka over the hijab issue. In fact, he also goes on to say that since 2013, there has been a dress code in the government PUCs, and until the December 2021, there were no agitations with regards to hijab. And after PFI actually started a social media movement about hijab to create unrest in the society, these agitations actually began, and the situation worsened in the beginning of 2022, and the government had to come in with this particular order banning hijab or any kind of religious attires inside the school. He also goes on to say that it is not just one community that is being prevented. People who are coming with saffron shawls are also prevented by this particular order, the GO that has been passed out by, in fact, the Karnataka government. And the High Court order too is not limited to the fact of hijabs, but also for other religions as well. So this is what the Solicitor General is constantly arguing before the topmost court of the country. Remember that he has already clarified that brief submissions would be given out from the part of the government. He would be arguing, Karnataka AG Mr. Prabhuling Navadgi would be arguing next, and Mr. K.M. Nataraj would be taking the court on the aspect of whether the matter should go before a constitutional bench, a larger bench, or not. So this brief submissions would be given out by the government of Karnataka with respect to the appeals that have been filed challenging the Karnataka High Court order banning hijab and any kind of religious attire inside educational institutions. Griha.
All right. Ananya, stay on with me. I'm also now joined on the broadcast by Mr. Manish Upadhyay. Mr. Manish Upadhyay, what do you make of this argument, that has been actually put forth in court? In fact, I'm joined on the broadcast by my colleague Harish. Harish, the fact that this is an argument that has been made by the Solicitor General talking about the PFI angle in this particular case, of course, this is something that the state of Karnataka and the campus politics that the state has seen, which is very evident when this controversy really started. Whether it is about the saffron scarves or about the hijab, the campus politics was at the fore. So this is something that is taking the argument back to where everything started from.
Absolutely, and it's a continuation of the submissions made by Karnataka government in front of the Karnataka High Court. Remember, there was a sealed secret report that was submitted to the court as well. In that particular report, the government had spoken about unseen hands being behind this particular episode that took place. The government wasn't willing to believe that this was a spontaneous protest. The government always maintained that there were individuals and organizations who staged this protest, who provoked these students, and that's why there were protests at multiple places. And they also established a sequence of events that happened. In fact, CNN News 18 back then had exclusively accessed one of the reports that was submitted to the government, which spoke about how these students had attended a ABVP protest, and thereon the CFI got involved and had spoken to the parents of these students. And it was only much later in November that the hijab controversy started, and finally it became a huge controversy by the end of December. So that entire timeline too was informed to the court, and this is something that the court had taken note of as well. And now similar arguments being put forth by the Karnataka government to convince the court that this is not a spontaneous protest. This wasn't a spontaneous demand. It was more of a conspiracy that's playing out here, and it's few individuals, organizations coming together to make this an issue. It's not a demand that has come from across colleges in Karnataka.
So, Harish, essentially this is about confrontation that emanated from the campuses in Karnataka, which of course led to where the protest is at the moment. And this is what probably has been brought to fore by the Solicitor General of the country as well. The PFI angle specifically speaks volumes because of the kind of outrage that the hijab controversy has seen in Karnataka as well.
Absolutely. And the involvement of CFI, which is seen largely as affiliate organization of the PFI in this controversy, has been very clear. In fact, the government saying that members of CFI met the parents of these students much before these students officially objected and demanded that they be allowed to wear hijab. So that entire episode has been put forth before the court to say that CFI was actively involved, and some of the PFI leaders.
And I remember, Harish, when all those protests, the hijab protests had broken out in the state of Karnataka in multiple districts, we had also put out that exclusive intelligence report that had pointed out to the involvement of the PFI. And those similar arguments are being echoed at the top court of the country by none other than Solicitor General Mr. Tushar Mehta. I'm also cutting across to Mr. S. Prakash of the BJP, who is with us on the broadcast. Mr. Prakash, not the first time that the organization like PFI is being known for its notorious activities. I think the million-dollar question before the state government and the union government is, what are you going to do against this organization?
No, actually, the Karnataka government is demanding a ban on PFI organization. However, the call has to be taken by the central government after going through all the records and the evidences available with them. Any haste in regards to banning those organizations would only be nullified in the higher court what happened in the Jharkhand case. So otherwise also these elements, today they call themselves a PFI, tomorrow they may call them by HFI. Some other name they take and they continue with their divisive activity and terror-related activities. And the government, if they want to crush these elements, they must take a very strong stand and cut the elements who are disturbing the peace in the society. And with regards to the hijab issue, the Campus Front of India, an offshoot of PFI, is responsible for creating controversy.
But Mr. Prakash, there are enough laws in this country to take action against individuals and organizations which indulge in these kind of alleged activities. That's what the government is saying. More importantly, I mean, the government can't get away simply by saying that if we ban this organization, someone else will really come up. You need to crack down on such elements. I'll come back to you. Mr. Waris Pathan from the AIMIM is also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Pathan, good afternoon. Thank you so much for speaking to us. It's no more just a political assertion. It's an argument which is being made at the Supreme Court of the country, where it is being said that PFI instigated these protests. These were not spontaneous, organic protests happening by people affected, but in fact engineered by certain organizations for their own vested political interests. Mr. Pathan.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm not the spokesperson for the PFI. And secondly, the matter is sub judice. It is pending in the Honorable Supreme Court. So, commenting much more on that will not be good. But I would like to say only one thing. My opinion is that it is a hijab. Wearing hijab is an essential requirement in the Islam. And it is a freedom of choice. Those who want to wear the hijab, nobody can stop them. Let them wear. And we live in India. We follow the constitution given to us by Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. And in that, freedom to practice religion, essentially under Article 25. I am protected by that.
Mr. Pathan,
nobody forces somebody wants to wear a hijab.
Let me rephrase my question. You rightly said you're not the spokesperson for the PFI. I'll rephrase my question. When that entire problem was happening in the state of Karnataka, where there were protests which were breaking out and there were certain students which had come out and said, look, we want to wear hijab. This is our right under Article 25, as you rightly pointed out. Now the government is saying that all those individuals who hit the streets, most of them were not really real protesters in the sense of the term. They were politically motivated individuals. I'm not talking about PFI or any other organizations, but is it fair to say that all the protests that happened on the streets were in fact politically motivated?
Well, what you, me and the entire nation saw, which was viral on that TV also, was that one girl by name Muskan came on the scooter to submit her documents in the college. How 25 to 30 goons wearing that saffron shawl came before her and they started shouting slogans, and how daringly she stood there and she shouted and she responded to them. So what is a pre-plan or spontaneous, that will have to be decided. We all saw that. How is the one single girl, she stood there and she shouted Nare Takbir, Allahu Akbar, she faced those goons, and then subsequently cases were registered against those people who came there and shouted and tried to provoke her. So all this we all have seen. So where does this lead to? This is a matter for investigation. Who were those goons? Where did they come from? Wearing red saffron shawls? Who were those people? And was this a pre-plan or was this spontaneous? She came there to submit her documents in the college. And during that she was just provoked and she made a statement, and which was viral everywhere. We debated on that issue as well. So it is a freedom of choice. Puttaswamy judgment is also very clear on that.
Mr. Pathan, there's one more political question that I want to ask you, and this pertains to the stand of your party, right? It's wonderful that you're making all these progressive arguments here. Freedom of religion, freedom to choose for women. I agree with that. Whether you wear a hijab or not, it's a choice that women should make. But perhaps there's also an argument that it's a choice for the privileged. A lot of women who come from underprivileged sections of the society, who come from conservative backgrounds, Hindu and Muslim women from both the communities have fought these patriarchal notions. It's an argument of privilege, and when your party puts up posters, pehle hijab, phir kitab, somewhere you are once again perpetuating regressive notions of a society. Mr. Pathan.
No, it's not that. These are rumors and lies and spreads. See, madam, let me tell you very, very clear. Some people are spreading lies and canards, which is not true. Let me tell you that. nobody forces them. And people from poor family or people from higher society, it's an individual's choice to wear hijab. They have been wearing hijab since the last 1400 years. In the Quran also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated so to the Prophet that please inform your women folks to cover themselves. It is also mentioned there. So where did they get this from, that it is only for the underprivileged and not for the upper econ of the
Mr.
society?
Pathan, correct me if
Everybody
I'm
wears
wrong, but the Holy Quran only talks about modest dressing. It doesn't talk about hijab.
That if you go into, madam, it will take a long time, but that matter is subject to be argued in the Honorable Supreme Court as well. And the lawyers representing the people, they have also argued, at least Solicitor General is also arguing. But what I feel and what we have been arguing and what is clear is that it is individual's choice, right to practice freedom of religion is in Article 25 of the Constitution, which nobody can take away from them.
My last question to you, sir, before you say goodbye to us on the broadcast, is that you pointed out that who were those people who were wearing those saffron shawls and shouting those slogans? There should be a thorough inquiry in that matter as well. So I ask this to you as a political leader. Who are the organizations you hold responsible and accountable?
Well, the hijab was being worn since several years in the schools and colleges. All of a sudden, a professor comes in Karnataka school and he says that, no, I don't want the students to wear hijab. See how our Sikh brothers, they wear turban. We have no objection, they can wear. How our Hindu brothers and sisters put tilak, wear a red thread in their hand. We have no objection. Similarly, a Christian brother puts a cross. We have no objection. And that is the way a Muslim girl, she wants to put a hijab on her head. This is the beauty of our great nation. We live as Ganga, Jamna, Tehzeebi. This is why you want to destroy the secular fabric of our great nation. Let every individual practice the way she wants to as our religion. Modi says, Beti bachao, beti padhao. Ek haath mein Quran, ek haath mein laptop. And when here our beti wants to go to the college, school and study wearing a hijab, they don't want to do. So this is duplicacy of the BJP government. They are systematically targeting a particular community. That is it.
All right, Mr. Pathan, thank you so much for getting us all the details on that very important story. That crucial hearing is underway at the Supreme Court of India. I want to cut across to my colleague Harish Upadhyay as well. Ananya Bhatnagar also tracking all the developments from the Supreme Court. What does this debate really entail? Under Article 25, Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, if there is an essential religious practice, what does that mean? That without that practice, you cannot identify yourself from that community. So there's, say, the recital of a namaz or tying a turban. These are all the practices which are intrinsic to the faith of Islam and Sikhism, respectively. So for a court to legally protect a practice from any kind of institutional encroachment or any kind of institutional norm, it has to be an essential religious practice. Now, when the petitioners went to the Karnataka High Court and said that hijab is an essential religious practice, the argument was it's a cultural practice. There are various countries where hijab is not there. There are various countries where a burqa is there. There are many Muslim women who don't cover their head and they're as Muslim as any other person. That argument will play out in the Supreme Court, and you have the Solicitor General making all those arguments. Harish Upadhyay with us on the broadcast. Harish, let's go back in time and also point out to us the key arguments which are being made at the Supreme Court right now. Anani getting us all those details. But what the Solicitor General is saying is actually in line with what we have heard from the political discourse and dispensation earlier as well, that these protests were largely motivated in some sense, quote unquote.
Absolutely, yeah. There are enough indications. In fact, the college authorities putting out photographs to show that the students were inside the campus, some of them inside the classroom, not wearing the hijab. Some of them include these same very petitioners who today approached the Supreme Court. So the government's stance is that at least 4 out of these 6 students who protested initially are in the second year. They did not have an issue attending the classes in the initial months of the first year before the pandemic started without the hijab. Even after the classes started post the lockdown, many of them attended the classes without the hijab. There was no issue back then. It's only sometime in late October, November, the issue starts after these students attend the ABVP protest. And then the CFI gets rattled looking at Muslim students attending the ABVP protest, approach their parents, and the state believes that's where it started, one. Second, if you look at the argument, there are arguments that are being made asking if a religious practice has to go to the classroom as well. Where will it stop? Will it stop only when you're at home, possibly praying? Are you at a place of worship? Or should it stretch to every aspect of life and society? So, apart from the hijab issue, there will be several constitutional issues on practicing religion that perhaps the court will also give an opinion or even give a verdict on, which will have far-reaching implications.
Mr. Tanveer Ahmed from the JDS is also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Ahmed, thank you so much for speaking to us. I think a very important constitutional, political and a debate of larger public importance is happening at the Supreme Court of India, where we are drawing boundaries or once again reiterating where the boundaries should be when it comes to institutional autonomy versus the right of an individual. As far as the hijab issue is concerned, one of the key arguments that the Solicitor General made is that all the so-called pro-hijab protests were motivated in some way. They were organized at the behest of the PFI. Your thoughts on it?
See, firstly, we need to really understand the Honorable Solicitor General does really know that Supreme Court is not going to take his argument. So that's the reason, just to derail the entire argument, they are like taking PFI part of the discussion, saying that it is orchestrated. Why? As a child who has studied in Bangalore for a pretty long period till my master's, I have seen that few girls had their choice what to wear and how to wear. But if at all the girls' side, if they establish right to education is far more important than what they wear, how they come to the college, then the entire discussion would be defeated. Yeah. See, right now the Solicitor General's motive is just to derail the entire discussion and to say that it is motivated by PFI and there is some foreign hands, which would definitely be defeated, because right to protect, promote, propagate your religion is your constitutional right. Right to education is a constitutional right.
Even within state-run institutions, there are various precedents, sir, where the courts have protected institutional autonomy over individual rights.
It is, but the Honorable Court is also going to look into the discussion that when this was absolutely not of a point of discussion for last 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden right now if this discussion is coming, it is politically motivated, whether it is PFI, BJP, RSS, we need to really figure it out who is the only thing which needs to be